everybody. Blaine and Bonnie here with you on another overland adventure in the Jeep Wrangler. This time we are headed north, trying to beat the heat. We've got a heat advisory on the Portland area. The high today forecast at 100 degrees, which is something like 37 for my metric friends, which is a little hot. So we're headed north up to Washington State, where we have not camped yet. Specifically today, headed to the Olympic Peninsula, the Olympic National Forest. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. We're about 3 hours into a 6-hour trip here. I'll check back in with you when there's something cool to look at. Welcome back. We are on Highway 101, just off the Pacific Ocean here by about 100 yards, although you can barely see it behind the trees. We're in the Olympic National Park, about an hour away from our campsite in Olympic National Forest. We've just got to work our way up north through the town of Forks, which I'm sure if you've read or seen the Twilight movies, you've heard of that town, but we're going to pass through there. I see why it's called Forks, because there's 4 highways that meet there. And from there we can turn east and head up into the forest and try to find our campsite. So we're just going to spend the next half an hour or so hugging the coast here, enjoying the sunset out over the Pacific. It's about 65 degrees, which is about, 20 for you metric friends. A little chilly actually with the breeze, but that seems to have happened right when we got to the coast. The temperature dropped about 10 degrees or so. So I suspect once we head back inland into the forest, we'll notice that temperature pick back up. We'll see. I'll check in with you guys here once we're in the forest, out of the park and into the forest. So we're here at the Forks gas station, getting ready to set out on the last leg of our journey here to the east into the Olympic National Forest and hopefully to our amazing campsite. Time to turn on the Garmin tracker, get your last minute drinks, use the bathroom, and get ready to head into the wild. Looks like it's our turn. Alright, so it is Wednesday, my dudes, Wednesday evening. We have made it past the town of Forks. We've got our gas. We are in the National Forest, the Olympic National Forest. Now we just have to find a campsite. It's hot. I'm sweaty. There's bugs out. Let's see, what else? The road in was closed that we were planning to use to get to all the sites we'd mapped out. So we just had to go wing it on unexplored roads. We found a really cool campsite near the river. You could hear the river. It was nice and flat, but no cell phone signal. So we've been driving around looking for a spot with cell phone signal. And this is the one and only spot on an abandoned, I hope abandoned, logging road that's blocked off with a tree, probably on purpose. And right on the other side of that tree, there's reception. So this is where we're going to set up our tent and hope for the best. So let's do it. I'm going to try to knock a tent peg into the ground here and see. This road that I'm on, it's made out of gravel. I'm not even sure I can get a peg into it. But there's really not any flat spot off the road. So this is gonna determine right off the bat how hard it's gonna be to get my tent set up. So hopefully
It's just these loose rocks on the top, and everything goes in smooth. It's starting to cool off, thankfully. It's not supposed to be nearly as hot tomorrow, so I think I'm okay on that front. I have the perfect amount of cell phone signal for this trip. Just enough that I have signal I can get messages, but not enough that I can browse the web or watch videos or anything. So I won't be distracted. Why do I need internet, you might be asking? Well, because it's a jet. I thought it was an explosion. That's a jet. I'm on call at work. Why am I on call at work during my vacation? Good question. Because things are a little hectic at work. It's hard to find good help these days, or at least to keep them around. And we've got some people leaving, and there's not going to be a great time for me to take vacation after basically next week. So it was kind of a now or never situation. And I go camping enough at this point that I pretty much already had everything ready to go for this trip, which I'd been planning for sometime in the future. About noon on Tuesday, I figured out I was going to be going on vacation on Wednesday. So I guess that's flat enough. Ah, no. Rocks. This is how you tear up your tent pole, tent pegs. Nope, just gonna break the peg. No. Shit. We're about to be in trouble here, people. No. Nope, just broke another peg. So this isn't gonna work here. Let's think this over. I'm gonna take a walk down, see if there's any other topography I can use here. Well, I'd ruled this spot out before because it's super exposed, but might be our only option, so let's do it. Oh, there is stone down there, but not a problem. This spot here is about a 1-minute walk from the car, not far, just far enough that I can't see it. I have to get Bonnie over here and no matter where you go on Earth, human trash. Sad but true. We'll round that up later. All right, let's go get our dog. It's about 10:30. We've got a really nice dark sky. Bonnie's already passed out, of course. She's getting used to the camping routine, and she's going to bed earlier and earlier. I think I was listening to the NOAA weather radio here, and it sounds like it should be a pretty warm night. So I'm not going to set up the stove. I'm just going to rough it with the Corinthia sleeping bag. And tomorrow morning we're just gonna have to get a tarp up quick because we have no cover here. This is probably the sketchiest, most remote camping I've done. One of the roads up here had a gate that looked like it was normally closed. It had a sign that said road closed, but then the gate was open, so that sign wasn't blocking you. So I thought, oh, hey, an open gate. Let me check that out. And then there were all these signs, active logging, danger. But there's no active logging here. I saw one rusted out old piece of equipment, which I'll probably take a hike back to tomorrow. But it looks like recently logged, sure, but I don't think active, unless they haul all their equipment back home every night. We'll see tomorrow if I get woken up by logging operations. The reason I said this is probably the most sketchy and most remote is, aside from that one piece of yellow trash and the rusted out logging gear, there's no sign of human activity here. I haven't seen any other cars on the road, at least after I veered off that road closed section. I haven't heard any vehicles, no gunshots. I can't see any other campfires. I'm on the top of a mountain. I have great visibility into 2 different valleys. I don't see any campfires. No sign of human activity at all. I'm at the end of the road. All right, well, I may or may not cook dinner. I'm getting hungry, but I'm also getting tired, and it's pretty late, so we'll see. I may just pass out for breakfast in the morning. If I do cook dinner, I'll bring you guys in for that. Otherwise, it may be passing out. Alright, so I decided to do dinner. No reason to go to bed on an empty stomach. Shepherd's potato stew with beef. I'm just stirring it. It's got about 7 minutes to go before it's done. Man, the stars are really out. And so is my drink. Time to hike to the Jeep for a refill, I guess. Such is life. Creamy mashed potatoes, beef, vegetables, and cheddar cheese. It's well seasoned. Oh yeah. I'm a fan. I'm sold. Well, time to get ready for bed. I'll check in with you guys in a bit. So it's about 8:45 a.m., morning 1, Thursday. Temperature right now, just above 70, 71, 72. It's about 22 for my Celsius friends. So what have we missed here? It's actually been somewhat of a hectic morning. I woke up, hey now, I woke up at about 4:45 in the morning to discover I was wrong, and this is not an abandoned logging site. It is definitely still active. And respect to those guys for getting started so early in the morning. But about 4:45, I started hearing the sound of heavy machinery coming up the road. I guess they bring all the equipment home every night. So I heard it coming up, and So I heard it coming up and immediately assumed the worst case, you know, they're coming straight for me and I was going to get kicked out of my campsite at 5 a.m. But in reality, they seem to have started working somewhere off on another side of the logging area, maybe a few hundred yards out. I can hear them, but I can't see them. I took a walk over to the Jeep while it was still dark just to make sure. Now that this has turned into stealth camping, I guess, now just to make sure that my Jeep wasn't visible for them. And I couldn't see any lights or any activity from the Jeep. So I'll walk back over there now that it's daylight and make sure that hasn't changed. I am legally allowed to camp here, but only until I get asked to leave by the logging crew that has a permit for this area. So the goal is to not get asked, to not get noticed. I'm assuming that since they had that tree blocking the road, that means this section is done, but that tree is trivial for them to move. They could put that in the way and move it every night and every morning for all I know. So what's next? The only piece of gear I'm missing here is the cooler, but there's no way I'm carrying that, so I guess I'll just be walking back and forth for drinks today, which is fine. I'm gonna get cleaned up, wash up, change clothes. We've got a new solar charging setup I'll show you today that we're gonna be testing. I'll get that set up here once the sun is a little bit higher in the sky. Okay, Google, what time is it?
12:16 p.m.
Advantages of having cell phone signal. It's 12:16 p.m. on Thursday. Temperature is 84. Wow. 85. About 31 centigrade. Just a slight breeze to help keep that from being too bad. Tarp's holding up good. Just watching some TV on the laptop. Bonnie had her leftover, well, what would have been dinner, but she was passed out, so we'll call it breakfast. Brunch. Cooler's hot to the touch, but ice cold inside. Ooh, hey you. We're drinking Pacifico. Cerveza Pacifico Clara. La Cerveza del Pacifico. The beer of the Pacific. Which seems fitting, since I could just about spit on the Pacific that way. Right on the other side of those mountains. Well, back to prehistory. It's 3:19 p.m. I think we have peaked out our temperature for the day. Still hot though, 92, but we were up at like 97, so the worst is over. This feels pretty similar to the last trip I was on where it was super hot for a while. When I was packing my clothes for this, I packed warm clothes and cool clothes because the weather forecast showed a couple days of warm and a couple days cool. It did not show hot. The forecast high for today was 84, 87. We hit 97. That's a noticeable difference. I've got a new stainless steel vacuum sealed Yeti cooler, the Yeti V, I guess for vacuum. After running out of cold drinks on day, 3 on the last trip, I wanted to go, see what we could do to extend that.
T-Rex has the most powerful jaws in nature.
Well, it's 4 o'clock, time for lunch. We're gonna have some Hatch Green chili mac and cheese from Backpacker's Pantry, which I have had before. It was pretty good. If I remember correctly, last time I remember it was too creamy, or a little on the creamy side, so I may hold some of the water back. Been watching Prehistoric Planet. It's pretty good. Pretty cool. I'd recommend it. It's 7:45. What has been going on? We are now known to the feds. We got busted. But it's okay. This is kind of a good news, bad news update here. So let's see where to start. So it was about 2 hours ago, super hot, drinking some adult beverages, staying cool. I was going back to the Jeep to get a refill, and as I was walking up, I heard a woman's voice. So I whipped my hat off so I could hear better. Sure enough, I hear a woman talking about school supplies for her grandson. So I thought it was other people camping, honestly. Anyway, no matter what it was, I was going to go ahead and get my drink. I wasn't going to run off and hide and act guilty. So I was getting my drink out of the cooler, and all of a sudden the person on the phone wrapped up their call and started yelling down at me, "Hey, did you know you're not allowed to be here?" So I told the truth and played it cool. I was like, "No, I'm in the National Forest. I just drove up. What's up?" So anyway, I've now learned a lot about National Forest logging law and liability, but the long and the short of it is, when the logging companies get logging rights to an area, they are required to make sure no one gets hurt from their logging operations. So part of that is setting up a roadblock to block off the road so other people don't come into the logging area. And they screwed up and didn't close that roadblock last night, and they all know that, and so they understand how I ended up here, just driving up through that open gate. But anyway, it was supposed to be shut, so they were basically trying to kick me out and tell me I got to get out before sunset, but I only had an hour or so, and I need more than an hour to pack up. So I talked to the site manager. The Forest Service Firewatch person called the logging site manager. He was already on his way up here because he had seen my Jeep while he was working today, and he was wanting to make sure that it wasn't he had a friend that committed suicide at the end of a forest road, and he was already coming up here to check on whoever's Jeep that was and make sure they were okay. So then the Forest Service person called him. He was on his way. We all ended up meeting here and having a conversation. Bonnie too. They all got to meet Bonnie. And the verdict was, I can stay here as long as I don't have a fire, which I wasn't anyway because it's hot. But one caveat, I can't get hurt. I can't fall on my knife and get hurt because I'm locked in and they'll all be screwed. So I gotta be good. I'm on the honor system here to not get hurt. Play it cool. Otherwise lawyers get involved. We don't want that. So the other thing is they lock the gate on Friday night and they don't come back till Monday. And I was planning to leave on Sunday. So if I don't want to be locked in over the weekend, I've got to leave tomorrow. So that means I got to pack my stuff up, at least what I don't need, bring it to the Jeep so I can make my exit a little bit easier tomorrow. So we're looking at basically a repeat of Oregon here, where we're going to have to move campsites right at the beginning of the trip, but that's okay. The site manager from the logging company showed me a bunch of cool campsites, or pointed out on the mountain where I should go, told me the names of the roads I should take. So I need to get the laptop out, spend some time looking at the maps, translate that into some directions I can use tomorrow. I need to haul whatever I don't need for tonight back to the Jeep. Get ready to move tomorrow, basically. Nomad life. But on the bright side of that, I have permission now to be here tonight at least. I'm locked in. There's no one else here. I've got my own private section of the forest, basically, wherever this whole logging area is. So I'm good for tonight. It's going to be nice and peaceful, nice and quiet. Temperatures drop below 80, finally. Sun's dipping down, it's getting comfortable. Time to do some work and make some progress. All right. So it's 11 o'clock, 11:08. Just settling in for bed here. Checking out a new show called Upload. It's pretty warm, it's about 70 degrees. Yeah, hopefully the bugs aren't too bad. Without the tent, that's the main downside. But we'll turn all the lights off, that should help. Ready to find a new campsite, Bonnie? Oh, yeah. Oh. 60 degrees right now. 18 or so for metric friends. Still cloudy, still foggy. I put the drone up and it's not foggy everywhere. It's just because we're at the exact peak of the mountain here. It's rolling over from the other side to this side. I think if we were to drive down right now, we would get out of it pretty quick, but I'm not in a hurry. We've got permission to be here now. So I'll probably hang around somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock, maybe 3 of this will burn off. So now we wait and we eat. Okay, so it's noon. Still only about 60 degrees out. But this is as good as I think we're gonna get, at least for the near future. Hey, we got a hummingbird inside the tarp. It's thinking that these little yellow patches are flowers. Hey. Hey, little guy. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this. Well, I don't think I actually got it. That was cool. Yeah, he's gone. Well, so it's noon, about 60 degrees, 62 degrees. I was waiting for the sun to come out, but that hasn't happened. But at least the fog's lifted and tarp is dry. So we're gonna go ahead and take the tarp down. Bonnie has requested that we leave the cot here until the very end. So I'm gonna break down pretty much everything but the cot and see where we land. All right, it's time to head out. It's still only 64 degrees, but still foggy too. So it's a good thing we didn't wait around, but oh well, we did okay. We didn't get rained on, didn't get wet. That's what I was worried about, so it worked out. There are some other areas around here we could check out, but I think we're gonna head down to the south part of the Olympic Forest since we're already relocating. We'll head a couple hours south. That will cut our drive home short, and we could check out another part of the forest. So we are gonna head south. First, we gotta get turned around. No workers, no sign of any work happening. Well, we made it here. we made it to a spot that's flat with cell phone signal. It's pretty close to the road, but I haven't seen any traffic on this road, so I don't think it's gonna matter. We gotta set up anyway. There are a lot of bugs though, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put on some bug spray, set up a chair, and then think about what I wanna do. I don't even know if I wanna do a tent or just sleep under the tarp like we did last night. Just need to see what my options are, so hang on. Oh man. Rappel 100. This stuff is my like emergency hardcore bug spray. I had to dig down for it. It's so intense I have to keep it in a Ziploc bag because it's like 100% DEET. At least I hope it is. DEET 98.11%, 98.11%. Probably the most that it could physically be. That's a start. It's a little after 5 and I'm not wearing this hat for sun protection, but for the bugs. This is probably more bugs than I've seen since I moved to the Pacific Northwest put together. There's a lot of bugs. I'm hoping they'll die down after dusk, but that's definitely factoring into my decision between a tarp or the tent. I don't want to have to deal with bugs all night. Temperature is 72, 73. Pretty much perfect. It's like completely overcast, but I don't think it's actually overcast. I think it's a fog layer right above us. We just didn't drive up enough on the ridge, or we'd be in it, just like earlier. As cool as it looks, I'm actually glad to stay dry out down here. Bonnie's already passed out. Shocking, I know. Hey friends, it's 8:30, exactly 60 degrees, or I guess 15 Celsius. Feels great, with the jacket on at least. Fog is rolling in. I'm not sure. Seems to be coming from that direction, so I think the tarp is going to block it. Bonnie's already got herself tucked in. There you go. Although she is ready for dinner. I saw her sniffing around her food bag. So I'm going to get her dinner ready and mine. Probably keep watching this Amazon show upload. And just hang out. Phew. What a day. First time being kicked out of a camp area. Evening, friends. It's about 11 o'clock. 62 degrees. 18 Celsius. Whew. Time for bed. I think there's a spider. It's been a battle to keep the rain out. I don't even know if I should call it rain, the mist. And it's really annoying because it's basically blowing in sideways. Unlike rain that falls, this is like coming in with the gentlest wind. It's like fog, basically. So I keep having to bring this part of the tarp down, which I wasn't expecting. So I was hoping to be looking out at the stars from this side of the tarp. That's why I had the cot right here. Oh well. So I'm gonna get tucked in. Hope my sleeping bag isn't wet. See if I need to pull out my backup sleeping bag. Get Bonnie tucked in and hit the hay. We'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Don't have an official temperature reading, but low 60s, mid 60s. Still cool out. Still misty. That's probably why I slept so late. I never did get the direct sun. Such thick fog. Bonnie's ready to get going and get her day started. She's not even clipped in. That's the secret. She doesn't know. I gotta clip her. Where'd it? I'll show you how to get out. Well, I'm gonna see just how lazy one human can be on a Saturday. We're gonna watch some TV, maybe take a nap, eat some food, try to accomplish as little productive activity as possible. Just veg out and be on vacation. Need to get a weather forecast as well and see if it's gonna be like this all day. Especially tomorrow. I need to know when my window is to take my gear down and get out of here. Well, the bad news is, through charging up all our gear overnight, we have killed our battery. Has a little indicator. There. There's a little voltmeter. Dead. Which would be kind of a crisis. Except out here we're working on a new solar charging setup. Let's go take a look. So up here we've got a 200 watt panel, well, 4 panels wired together, and those are running down to a charge controller right here. We're looking at currently making 2.3, 2.4 amps. Earlier it was 1.8. Well, it is time for breakfast. Got our drink refilled, got our food cooked. Bonnie's enjoying her after breakfast nap. Life is good. It's still only about 62 degrees though, which feels perfect. Mountain House breakfast skillet. Shredded potatoes, scrambled eggs, sausage, peppers, and onions. This would be good with a tortilla. Tortilla and some hot sauce. Style chicken and rice. White chicken, rice, and vegetables with a creamy sauce. First time having this from Peak Refuel. So we'll see how it goes. Going to need 1 cup of water. It's about 4:30, which is theoretically the hottest part of the day, and it's still 60 degrees. We never really got above 60. The sky, the clouds never burned off. It's getting a little chilly, so I'm thinking I might want a fire tonight, at least a small one. So I'm gonna get that set up now before it's too late. Set up some rocks here and get some wood gathered up, see what I can find. Nothing major, but just enough to take the edge off. With these rocks here, it should reflect the heat back on my cot, which should give me a little extra effectiveness out of whatever I do find. And it should be pretty safe to have a fire here because it's all rocky. Set it up. First thing I'm going to need is some gloves. Just grab some stones here. Not going to set up anything too elaborate. Like I said, it's not going to be a big fire because we don't have a ton of fuel.
Big bad storm is rolling in by the thunder and the wind. Ain't nothing ever gonna be the same. These April showers don't change a thing. Ride for you for 20 long years. Damn you, Heather, you still ain't here. You ain't my mother anymore, and I don't feel sorry for you.
Started.
April showers won't save dead flowers. I've got the power and I'm moving on. April showers won't save dead flowers. I've got the power and that old house is caving in. I won't go back there again. No suffering the bed you made. These April showers don't change a thing. Left me hungry, you left me cold. Good Lord, Heather, you've got no soul. What goes around comes back again, and I don't feel sorry for you.
Bonnie just smelled something. What is it? just scare yourself? What is it? Well, my fire's gonna die if I don't get back to what I'm doing. Alright. We're gonna see how these log slices work. My chainsaw wasn't long enough to cut it down the middle. I had to do the slices. It's about 9 p.m. Just hanging out. Bonnie finished her dinner. She's tucked in for bed. I think I've got the fire going to a pretty good point. Just threw the first log slice on there that I'm hoping to light up. See how long those last. That'll give me a good idea how long the fire is going to last, because I know I have 5 of those slices. Time for my dinner, but I'm not too hungry, so I may hold off on that for a little bit. Watch some more TV. Gonna get changed into my nighties. See you in a bit. Hey guys, it's 9:40, time for dinner. Spaghetti with meat sauce from Mountain House. Special treat because I've never had this, and I don't get to try these for the first time very often at this point. I picked this up for Sam because she's a huge spaghetti fan, and I guess I'm going to get to try it before her. It's good. Real good. Oh yeah. Okay. Breakfast. You know it's gotta be biscuits and gravy. Yeah. And nappies.
Nicole Field, cloudy 65. Shelton, cloudy 65. And Olympia, cloudy 65 degrees.
This is your commander. I am being held by the Soviets. They have not harmed me.
for the briefest of brief moments, we were actually making 9.7 amps. But even at 5 amps here, we could charge each of these batteries in 8 hours, or individually 4 hours each. We could charge them both in under 8 hours. So even on a somewhat cloudy day, it seems like we could definitely produce more power than we need. So we'll go ahead and unhook that now and get the heck out of here. Get some belly rubs. Have a belly. We can rub a belly. That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
Time goes by and yet I wonder, are you and me still the same? Are you still loving the game? I know I don't. You cast your spell and I went under. I know the laughter and the pain. Will I ever love again? I don't know if I can take it anymore. So I stay here and hold my heart when you walk out the door. Made a promise to myself and I repeat it in my head. Set your mind free. Set your mind free. No one knows what I've been through, but this is the end of me and you. Set your mind free. Made a promise to myself, this time I will keep it. Where there's a will, yeah, there's a way. With every smile, with every tear, I know I will make it. I'm gonna see a brighter day. Oh, 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 oh. A brighter day, a brighter day. Oh, a brighter day. Time goes by and yet I wonder, why do we put each other through hell? Why can't we just get over